What's up, Flockers? We're back with another episode of Flockast. I'm Jake Kuhn, and we're joined with our co-host
Jake, how we
today,
doing, bro?
Colin Long. What's going on, Colin? Doing great. Got Boulder screaming in the background if you don't hear him, but we also got another special guest with us today, Mr. Ari
what's
Lesser.
going on?
What is up, Ari?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for joining us. And quick intro on Ari. Ari is in a couple projects, Greasy Hands and Dancing Bears, a Grateful Dead tribute band, if that's correct, right?
You got it. Yeah.
And then also in the Infinity Tribe with Noodly Brook and Gator. And then Ari was also in Pure Motion with Gator, if I'm
Guilty.
correct on that.
Guilty.
Guilty as charged.
The only
We'll
asterisk I'll add is I'm not currently playing with Greasy Hands anymore. They've got two stellar guitarists that have joined them, Charles Simon and Mark Shapiro. You know how it is. Life just gets crazy, and with two little ones running around, the schedule gets nuts. But the Greasy guys are still tearing it up. They're still very, very good buddies, and they're still crushing it in the scene here.
Yeah. Well, thanks for letting us know. I was able to see you play with Greasy Hands in Baltimore at the 8x10. So that's the only reason why I mentioned it. But
Dude, it's cool. It's cool.
yeah, man. Ari's also a fan of pigeons playing ping pong. That's why we got him on the podcast today. This episode pretty much stemmed from a comment on in the flock about Ari having a hot take about My Own Way, pretty much saying that this is one of the best pigeon written songs in a while. But I don't disagree with you about that at all or anything. I don't really know why you called it a hot take. I'm sure a lot of people would agree
I
with
think that probably stemmed also from Rudman a
Yeah,
little bit.
it's
as
not
well.
a controversial take that My Own Way is a
Okay.
good song, so
What
I
do you
think
mean by
you're in
that?
good company there.
Well, it's funny though, because like I feel like also in any sort of group related to any sort of band, I feel like opinions get thrown out like a million different ways, and unless you put some sort of like qualifier, like hot take or like, yo, this is my opinion, you're about to get roasted in
Yeah.
one way or another. So,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. I don't usually use qualifiers. I'm just like
But they're all
blunt, and
pre-qualified.
I'm ready for the roast or whatever like that.
that's why
But
we all love you, Jake.
of course, I mean, but My Own Way is, I would say, like, with all the new music recently, if you've been able to listen to it or at least like see the guys play it, is, I would say, a lot more cerebral. They thought about it a little bit more.
Well, from my standpoint,
what do you
look,
guys
I'm
think
always an
about that?
upbeat Pigeons fan, so when it's a slower song, it hits different. But I think My Own Way, like I think Jack was the one we coined the cerebral take on it there, and it just has that smooth intro to it. Yeah, it's just a good vibe song all the way through. And it's funny how sometimes songs will hit you in a certain way for what you're going through in your time of life. And I'm doing some making some life choices right now, kind of doing my own thing and going my own way. So this song's a little extra poignant for me because it just kind of hits more related to what I'm experiencing my own as well. So it's well timed.
Yeah, man. I mean, I remember the first time I heard this song, first time ever. It was at that soundstage show, and like I've been listening to Pigeons since the beginning.
Oh, no kidding.
Jeremy and I went to high school together, obviously, like, you know, from the beginning. And when I first heard My Own Way at soundstage, like I looked at the set list and I was just like, I knew it was that song. And I asked Alex about it, like right after. I'm like, dude, what the hell was that song? And he was just like, oh yeah, man, that's definitely My Own Way. And I was just like, that is my favorite song I've ever heard you guys do. And it was clear that the song was like kind of still in its infancy in terms of like them
They work it
playing
out
it
over
out
time.
and,
Yeah.
you know, really developing it. So hearing exactly. And that's kind of been their MO always. Like, I don't think they'll go into the studio. I mean, maybe not yet, but I don't think they're going to go into the studio with songs they haven't played live a bunch quite yet. But they, when I heard the studio version, I immediately was like, yo, this is it. And again, it comes from like a level of maturity in terms of, you know, what they're bringing to the table with this one just right off the bat. The accessibility from like a harmonic standpoint, a melodic standpoint, going into like the actual chords of it, like where they put their tension and release is just really awesome and really thought out. And I think this is a great foundational song that we're going to see go in a lot of unique places with regards to jamming. It's totally a vessel. It can take it into like, Jake, like you said, a totally cerebral place of just like they can get really spacey with it. They can go a whole bunch of different directions. But like then the climax of these jams is really going to be able to take you through a really, really, really powerful, serious moment that is going to be euphoric and happy on one. And that's just what I hear through this. Just in, like I said,
Yeah, there's a couple songs where Greg's hitting some like vocal peaks, as I'll say it. You know, My Own Way at the end, you know, at the end of it when he's really kind of hammering it out. The same thing with Feet on the Ground as well. You see in some of the newer songs. And it's interesting to hear your take, Ari, because obviously you're as a musician yourself, you're kind of looking at it multiple ways, right? I listen to it just as a fan, so I hear it with. I don't understand the technical aspects of it, right? I know, does it sound good? Does it not sound good? That's as complicated as like how I grade wine. Is this wine? Yes, correct.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny and it's just like, you know, yeah, I think it's kind of a curse also looking at things, you know, technically for sure. But like I said, I mean, ultimately, I mean, music is supposed to invoke like an emotional response no matter what. If it's doing that, it's working. Everyone's going to have a unique and subjective approach, like response to that. But like when you like take down the different, you know, building blocks of the musical theory behind it, it comes down to tension and release and what chords do from one chord to the next and how that makes you feel. Different cadences will be like, and it's just like, and that's just the power of the chords. And so you take like a song like this, which like the chords are like super diatonic. It's very like in feeling. It gives you the sense of familiarity, which is great in pop music. You know how you can kind of figure out you'll just be humming a pop tune and you'll just know how it goes. You'll never know. You may have never heard the song before, but you know what's going to happen next. And they do that on purpose. Like that's like almost like a recipe for a good pop song is your ear's ability to predict the next outcome. And My Own Way does that in a very unique way. And so it's cool.
It's
I love
definitely an earworm. I would agree with you that I'm saying it. I'm singing it all the time. And Kendall posted about it.
I saw that today too. I immediately
he's like, who put this in my head? I was like, dude, we went to Knoxville. We heard it 3 times because they sound checked it twice. I've said this multiple times, but like I really think like what you said, they're trying, like they do with most of their songs, is polish it out before they like explore in the jam territory with it. So they crushed it out really good. If you go back and listen to the Knoxville show, Greg was super pleased with how they finished. He was so happy with it. He threw the pickup as soon as the song was over. But
I'm writing myself a note to make sure to check that out.
Yeah, definitely do that. I think it's one of their longer versions of it. It's probably like a little bit over 5 minutes. Their album version is also 5 minutes. And like you said, how it has like that pop feel to it. I was thinking the other day, this would be like a perfect song.
I absolutely can see a lot of their newer stuff that way.
You know, they had it.
You know, so you think even like, you know, the new music off the new album,
And
you mentioned like Maturity, Ari, you know, Day and Time, I think is a song that could absolutely be on the radio. Like these are songs that I think could really cross over because they hit both sides.
Yep. And then like somebody commented on that thread saying that this is just like right in the vein of the Chili Peppers. And I think, and honestly, I think that's really spot on. And if I go back into just like my years of trying to compare any group to the Red Hot Chili Peppers, pretty
They're a pretty
hard
unique band.
to do that in general. It's a very unique band. You try them, but like you can't really put a genre and say, oh, they're a rock band, or you can't really say, oh, they're like, a pop band, or you can't say they're an alternative band. They're everything and then some. And so I think, that real, like, I mean, the tones that you're hearing, I think the harmonized, like, little third, melody that Jeremy's doing, the ba ba da da ba ba ba, but da 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 ba ba. I think that is so reminiscent of some like old school Frusciante, and I just think I think it's a great vein for some really, some good radio time as well.
And that's not the only. This isn't the only song that has kind of that Red Hot Chili Peppers familiarity. They haven't the new song "Show Me" as well. That sounds like some.
If you
classic,
told me that
like, Red
wasn't
Hot Chili
that was a
Peppers,
cover, that was not
if
a
you've
original
been
Pigeon
listening-
song, I would believe you. I'd be like, okay, I have to look this up. But
yeah, if you're not too familiar with the Chili Peppers, you could probably tell someone that, and they'd
Which is
have no
kind of
idea.
wild that we're in that generation now where some people might not.
we're in that
be
generation.
That
Chili
familiar
Peppers
with
have been
Chili
around
Peppers.
almost 40 years. Like I was when Under the Bridge came out, I was like in 4th grade.
I was one. Like my family tells me stories about like my mom playing Under the Bridge for me on a cassette tape. Here, like the house that I live in now was my grandparents' house, and like my grandparents apparently were furious with my
Devil
mom
music.
for playing the Chili Peppers for me as a kid. Lo and behold, I went on to becoming a musician, and so they really, they support it 100%. But it's funny to think about.
But yeah, I mean, if you've been listening to Pigeons for a time now, you could definitely. I as a joke, I would always say in the flock, like almost every other Saturday, I'd be like, Pigeons playing ping pong. Have they ever played Red Hot Chili Peppers, or like they should play Red Hot Chili Peppers?
I think
You don't know. People will go crazy like they've done it, but they do it so well. I love
Why is
it.
this guy a mod in here? He doesn't know.
I'm not
he's
a
not that
mod.
cool. You're
I'm
not
not
a
a
mod.
mod. No.
Oh God.
See?
Nick
Everyone
Holt
thinks
Pour
thinks
some
he's
salt in the
Bill.
wound there. Why don't you, Ari?
No.
Jeez.
Oh, sorry. My bad. My bad.
No, I'm not. No. I'm just like people think that I am, but I'm not at all. So I just wanted to make that clear that I'm not. So let's not go in that direction at all.
Say less.
Love it. Say no more.
But my hot take for when I was joking with you during that, when you posted that, I was like, kiwi is because I've seen people talk about shaving kiwis and stuff like that. It's like, oh, so derogatory. But the real hot take is the Yo Soy Fiesta is the best song that's been written by Pigeons.
I don't know why it's controversial at all. I mean, it's a great song. It was my first debut that I ever saw. So it's always got like a special place in my heart. I saw him play for the first time at the Rams Head. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. No, I'm just joking about that.
love
But if anyone doesn't know, that's about Ron Gronkowski. Big old Gronk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny at the zoo today. The kids we obviously see when you go to the Maryland Zoo, the Baltimore Zoo. Like the first thing you see when you go in, it's obviously the penguins. So I'm just like, oh, penguins, like just immediately. And then you go down, and then you go into the African safari kind of thing, and you're going through, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, porcupine,
Your little animal tour.
and one after another. Yeah, a little animal tour with Pigeon.
Dude, I could do it all day with everything.
A river deer.
Oh, I'm drinking water. Water.
Love that. I actually think that's one of my favorite
Really?
songs that they do.
Yeah, I was just listening to Feet on the Ground recently today, and was re-listening to that Florida show that you were at, Colin, and they played Water right after it in the jam that I was listening to on that. It was really great. And also Rudman posted a meme about talking that interview meme that
Oh,
he
that
was
was cool.
doing with
Yeah.
like Greg. I don't know if you saw,
Yeah, that was really
it,
funny.
but he posted one with Gator. It was like, remember that one time you played the drums with kitchen
Yeah. Was that
utensils?
there in the
That was awesome. I think
Halloween? What was
that's
that
so low that he.
2021 or what was that? Stop making cake. It was at the
I
it was
couldn't
at the
tell you the
Boston
year, but
show. I was there for
yeah,
that.
stop making cake.
Because I was watching someone just from backstage just
Yeah.
hand him all these instruments, and he's just like taking anything that they hand him, and he's just drumming with it, and just like, all right, let's go.
I heard Paradise.
House of
Paradise
Blues.
or Hard Rock?
House of Blues. Sorry,
House of Blues. Sorry, House of Blues.
that place gets mad. It gets mad hate on that place.
Yeah,
It's
but
so
if
funny.
you hit that video, it's low.
Oh my god.
I've never been to Boston.
That. Oh man, you're not missing much. Oh, I'm kidding.
Oh, really?
I'll get a lot. I'll get a lot of help. I'm kidding. The Boston shows are always fun. So Alex is from the Boston area, in New Hampshire, and so any one of the Boston shows, his whole family, his whole crew, everyone, and their brother and their sister and everyone, they all come out, and there'll be like 75 people, just like Alex is just like close friends and family, and then like the next level out of them also will come, and so the Boston shows are always incredible for it's just
Makes
it's like a
sense.
homecoming for him, which is is great.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like the boys playing anywhere
Stoked.
in Baltimore, right?
Oh yeah,
You figure it's gonna be a good time.
exactly.
Yeah, it's
the
like I
same
want to
thing.
see more 8x10 shows, but I think it'll be a minute before we see those. Yeah.
Yeah, tend to agree with that. It like things are, we're starting to see it. Like venues are starting to kind of, obviously, the last time they played the Open
Yep.
House 2 years ago at this point, when it was like when they had to move their Flocktoberfest indoors. It was that whole, and so that whole
Yeah.
weekend was a lot of fun. But like it's just the 8x10
So,
it's too
I used to
small
work a
hold them
trade
and their
show that was
production
in
and everything
Baltimore,
like that.
and it would have been in Baltimore that year, but they moved it to Philadelphia. So I was just 2 hours away. So every day drove down and back. I had to work a trade show all day, book it down for the show, and then like go back, get 3 hours of sleep
man.
before I wake up for the show. By the end of it, I was like, it was too much, but it was worth it though. Those shows were great.
Yeah, man. Oh, for sure. And like I think they've got a good setup now with the Flocktoberfest, I guess they're calling it. At Union is great. I mean, last year we went there we brought my girls while they were sound checking,
Oh,
and so they
cool.
were able to kind of see Uncle Gator Beats and Squad play a little bit. Yeah, that's what they call him. Like I don't even think my daughter knows Alex's name is Alex. She just calls him Uncle Gator Beats. It's great. It's great. And Union's also, it's just a fun spot. It's great. We actually, Jake, I play in the band called Dancing Bears.
cool.
We actually have a show there next week on Saturday the 13th. So always a fun
Nice.
time. So
That 8x10 show we were just talking about, that's like where you and I first met.
oh yeah, man.
Huh?
You sent it.
remember
You
that?
fully sent it. You were like, I'm coming down. I'm gonna come rate. Oh my God. Well, great. Well, no, didn't you come down for when Alex played with us at the Wrecker? Didn't you come down to that show?
No, I was supposed to, but we didn't end up making it. Yeah.
Okay.
I was
I
like,
remember Rudman. I definitely saw Rudman
Yeah.
there, but I wasn't sure if you made that one or it was the other one.
How did
So,
you and Gator
Redmond
first start
was
playing
there.
together?
Yeah, Rudman came out. Oh man, that's a fun question. So so Gator's older brother Chris and I are the same year. We all went to college together, University of Hartford. Chris and I were in a program together called Acoustics and Music. It's a double major program in acoustical engineering. So think like the physics of sound design in concert halls, recording studios, all that fun. And then we were also music majors. So I think we were sophomores, and Chris goes, "Hey Ari, so my brother, he's still in high school. He's a drummer. We've got this Battle of the Bands called Girton Live. They went to a high school called Bishop Girton up in Nashua. And he's like, so we've got this Battle of the Bands, and it's always a good time. We're going to do 10 covers, 8 covers, something like that. Would you be down to kind of come and play? And I was just like, hell yeah, that was fun. Me and Chris were good friends, and I knew Chris was a great player. I hadn't seen literally anything this is like before YouTube really kicked off, or Facebook or social media, and so I'm like, hell yeah, that sounds fun. And so we were doing Chris sent me a list of songs. It was like Pearl Jam, it was Chili Peppers, it was Audio Slave, it was
Cool.
I mean, we did Cult of Personality, we did like a ton of awesome songs. And so we learned them, we go there. And so we're going to New Hampshire for the weekend. And the best, like, I love Alex's family so much. I get into the car to go, and Linda, their mom, is just blasting Creed. Creed is her. She loves Creed. And I'm like, this is going to be fun. I love it. It was just like, and it was so great. And so we went up, I met Alex. We played, like, I think we got up, maybe, I think we got there at 8 p.m., 7:30 or 8 p.m. on a Friday. And we set up, we're playing from 8:30 until 2:30 in the morning, 3 in the morning, maybe, get a few hours of sleep. Then I swear to God, 7 o'clock in the morning, Jim is blasting Little Feat. Blasting. Everyone is up. Breakfast is served in the Petropolis household, and this is 7 o'clock. Say 7:45. We are down in their basement, basically playing even more. And then the show was that night, and so we played all day. And we did Muse. We did Hysteria, and which was also a lot of fun. And then we played the show, and we just rocked it. It was so much fun. And then, got up, went back to college. And then Alex was like, guys, I'm coming to Hartford next year. And so the seed was born.
Seems like you guys played a lot over a 48-hour period there to get ready. So you kind of get to know someone quickly, right?
Dude, it's like and it all just came so naturally. We just had so much fun, man. You get that feeling of just like walking into a room and you've got work to do and you just immediately crush it. And there's just nothing. You get in the flow state. I'm reading a book right now that kind of goes into it as well, but called Flow. But like get into like this flow state that I'm sure everybody's kind of been, where you just forget what time it is entirely. You're just really focused. You're just like really going through it. It's just coming easy. Your muses are singing everything. And I mean, like I said,
so it was clicking.
It was just awesome. It's fun.
Everything was kind of clicking, right?
What was that? Exactly. Yeah, man. And then, that was just the beginning. I mean, the next year he came to Hartford, and then it was just kind of like we picked up like we never stopped. And we have all of these tapes. Like I probably have hard drives. I probably have 3 full hard drives of audio and video from like all of our sessions in New Hampshire. Most of it's unreleased. It's just like been sitting on my drive. Alex always jokes with me that like we're the most documented band with nothing released. We do have an album that's on Spotify. We've got some videos on YouTube and everything. But we played a lot, and so had a lot of fun. And then fast forward a few years, we did a show with Pigeons in Hartford one weekend, and it was actually, I think it was a Halloween weekend, and like this was before we knew anything about saturation or anything about like really like booking shows strategically or whatever. We played like 2 shows the week before in Hartford, and then like we had Pigeons come up and do a show with us in Hartford, and there were probably like 7 people.
What year was that? Total. Probably.
Yeah.
What year was that?
One there. What was that? That was 2000. And
okay, yeah, that makes sense.
11? Yeah. 2011, I think, because I had graduated. I was living in New York City, and Chris and Alex were still in Hartford. And I was taking the bus, the mega bus back and forth between New York and Hartford. Oh man, grinding, man. You're young, you do it. You're just so much fun. I mean, it was a great time, and obviously I knew Jeremy. I knew the Pigeons guys just basically from home kind of a thing. And so there was nobody there. Needless to say, it was still a fun show. We still had a great time. But like we started playing less and less as kind of like my career started ramping up in the consulting world. Chris moved down to New York. Chris and I lived together in Brooklyn together. We were still playing as much as we could. And that was kind of where Dan, and he was kind of looking to part ways, and Jeremy kind of, reached out to Alex, and they kind of started jamming and playing. And it's funny, because I noticed this was when Spotify showed, like, maybe they still do, but they show what your friends are listening to on the right side. And I kind of like noticed that Alex was listening to like a lot of Pigeon. I just didn't even think anything of it. And then Alex called me, he's just like, hey man, he's definitely like nervous, which I mean,
Sure.
it was a big step for him. And he let me know that he was going to be joining up with Pigeons. And so I was just like, hell yeah. It was very cool. And I totally got it. And like, honestly, like someone as talented as Alex is,
He's definitely a strong
this is
member,
where he
no
has
doubt
to be.
about it. I mean,
He's
you
got to
can
be.
just hear what they've been putting out lately, and you can hear everyone's influence in it. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of the story. That's the TLDR version of just kind of the story of Alex and I starting to play together, and Chris. And that band used to be called Lifted, and then we had a booking mix up in New York where there was a band called the Lifted Crew, which were like featuring like Nick Casarino, like a whole bunch of people, like cats, and they were phenomenal. But it was nonetheless a booking mistake. That a booking agent was just like, I thought you guys were the Lifted Crew. We're like, well, we're Lifted.
We're here.
What's up? No. Yeah, and so they ended up sending us a cease and desist. Like they're
seems that way.
Very aggressive,
and they're kind of weird.
Yeah, it was very aggressive. I could probably take up the things or whatever. Like, I mean, what it is what it is. We changed our name. This was all when we had our album being released. This was all within a month period. We had to change the artwork of our album. We had to change everything. Ended up working out Pure Motion, and then obviously Alex started playing with Pigeons more, and so kind of we just we're like kind of simmering, and we're really lucky every time that they get to do like a Dome Fest or some sort of festival like Home Fest or anything. We always love when we get a chance to get together and play for everybody.
Yeah, I was able to see you guys at Dome Fest.
Yeah, man.
So that was cool.
So that there you have it. That's the
it's just kind of funny how your worlds have just been kind of like in order around each other. Like you knew Jeremy from high school. I mean, I think Rudman just might have been college. So Rudman just it's not as OG as we thought anymore.
Yeah. Oh my God, Rudman will always be the OG. He will always be the OG. But no, Jeremy used to play in like punk bands. Like that was his thing. Like he loved playing in like punk rock bands, and it was so funny. Just thinking back in just terms of high school and the stuff that we were playing.
Shit, yeah, that's some good pigeon lore, man.
I know, right?
We're documenting the pigeon lore.
Documented away. And so while we're documenting pigeon lore, for all the people who don't know why he's called Gator, I made a meme about this, which you can find if you really search the flock. But Gator, so Alex's dad would call him Gator because Alex alligator Gator. So there you have it. It's documented for the Flockast. And so now people, why do you call him Gator? That is
funny stories. Like the first time I heard any interaction with him, I'm wearing this hat because this is the first pin I ever did. It's like a Gator pin. It's like a pin or a onesie, right? And so through Facebook one day, I just get a message, and this guy's like, "Hey, I'd love to buy some. Can I get some of those pins?" And it didn't say Gator, it said Alex, but I wasn't even paying attention. So I was like, "Yeah, it's 1 for 20, 2 for 30." I just kind of sent the message off and walked away. Like an hour later, I'm like, I wonder if that guy responded. So I go back and I look, and I'm like, oh shit, wait a minute. Never mind. They're free. You can have some. I didn't realize who I was talking to. I'm so sorry.
I love that. Oh man, back in the pin days, the Haleys and the Coop. Man, so the first time the guys played at Red Rocks, we all went out, like everyone, and whole family. We all stayed in the cabin together, and just right outside of Red Rocks. And I remember that was when either the Gator head pins, the crazy, they're like kind of big. I have them all up in a bag upstairs, and then the Gator Slade pins and all those, and like, oh man, this hat I used to have all my pins like right here, and I kind of removed those a little bit, but
I got rid of all my pins. But I was at that Red Rocks too. Ari.
Is that the one when they did Twiddle, or is that the other one?
Yeah, man.
I think it was Mo. Was it Mo?
The Mo show was canceled.
Right. So then this was the Twiddle.
Twiddle. Yeah.
I definitely went to see them with Mo though at Red Rocks.
They played Red Rock. I played there twice.
Really?
Am I wrong?
Yes.
I might be wrong.
Yeah, they played there 3 times, I think. Now, the first time I thought was with Mo.
They recently did Motet.
They recently did Motet also. So it was Mo, and then it was Twiddle, and then it was Motet. The first
Motet.
one was canceled, and they switched to 2 shows at the Globe and at the Boulder Theater. And they did kind of 2 nights, or maybe the Boulder Theater was first and the Globe was the second night. And that's how they kind of pivoted with the whole Mo situation. The Boulder show, that's a funny show. Not a funny show. I mean, it was a great show. And that they played with Whittle. And funny story, we were hiking in Estes Park. Estes, but so we're hiking, and then like the storm started to kind of like brew, and you're at altitude, so you're like, get out. Like lightning strikes, you don't want. So we're hiking down, and a massive storm is just like, we see it just sweeping across Colorado. So the guys were flying in, I think from Florida or from somewhere, and their plane got diverted because that storm produced a couple tornadoes.
Okay.
And so they got diverted to Texas. I had terrible service, and I'm texting, and this is the night of the show. And so I'm texting with Alex, I'm texting with Dave and their manager, Dave, and I'm texting with Jeremy. And I'm like, what's going on, guys? And so they ended up getting their flight from Texas, ended up taking off. They get to Denver. I think doors were probably at 7:30 or whatever. And they probably landed at like 7:15 or whatever. And so Debbie and I had rented an SUV. We drove out to the Denver airport, and we picked up like half the guys, half the gear. And then Dave had another car. They got half the gear. And we went straight to the theater. It was one of those like out of a movie. We roll up to the back door. Guys get out, get changed, hit the stage. And it's so that first Colorado run, or that Red Rock, I don't think it was the first Colorado run, but that Red Rock show ended up being
that sounds like it. I remember there was a photo. It was after, I think when they went the Twiddle run, but it was from Greg at the airport the next morning. So I think they were going straight from there to Jazz Fest or New Orleans. I think it was. I forget, but he had like a flight.
Yeah.
But he's holding his guitar case, just standing in like line to board the plane, and he just looks wiped out. He's tired.
Man, these guys, like, people don't see it. I mean, everyone is like really blessed. We see them. They literally put on a hell of a show night after night. They leave it all on the stage. They go to town. They are the hardest working people out there. And I mean, I can say most of the bands in their kind of like in their kind of level and kind of world, they really all work their asses off. And so they're all grinding. They're all doing their things. I mean, in addition to putting on shows, epic shows, it's all the back end stuff, and it's the travel and everything like that. And it's just like, we're really lucky we get to see them, crush it. But at the end of the day, they're still getting on a plane the next day to go either to the next show or getting back into the bus. And
it takes
a lot of fun.
But, I recall when I first got into Pigeons, like in 2014, 2015, I was looking at their tour schedule, and I'm like doing the math in my head. I'm like, you're in Burlington tomorrow, and then you're in like Baltimore, then you're in New York. Like, they were huge amount of miles. These were not convenient tours they were doing, and they were just in the van. And I was like, that's aggressive, but that's what you need to do. You need to be out there and just, playing, building an audience, so you don't need to do that anymore. Now they had the luxury, obviously this year they've had a little bit lighter because of some life events, babies and such. So they can kind of have that flexibility now and kind of, do that. But, and then still like book these Dome Fest presents this whole tour. We haven't even mentioned the caverns yet.
Yeah, that Harrisburg show is going to be a lot of fun. I'm trying to make it up for that.
I'm hoping I have a good week and I can maybe do a last minute send and make it to those Harrisburg shows. I have a feeling I'm just going to really be mad at myself if I'm not there. And I used to live in the Northeast, so I was in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, if I can drive 6 hours,
I was in Pennsylvania for so many years, and that would have been just like a local show for me, more or less. So I'm like, Miami's a little farther. I better start walking now.
It's so funny. Selfishly, I like love that they have a little bit of downtime, just because it's like, so bands like, Alex and I, we play in the Affinity Tribe together, so we get to play more with that. We, which is a lot of fun. So it frees up a little bit of time for that. Also, side note, Alex is like a scratch golfer, like savagely good golfer. He's been playing since he was like old enough to hold a club. He is just, it's nuts. I'm not good at all compared to him at all. He's incredible.
Wasn't he like a state champ?
I think he was either a state champ or he just missed a state champ. No, I'm kidding. I have no idea.
Sticks.
Okay. But he's got the skills to do it, for sure. And so we get to golf like when whenever
Yeah,
our
I think I'm gonna
schedule
try to hit
allows,
him up. I was a
basically.
golf. My former career was
Nice.
as a golf pro, so it's yeah, I don't play as much, but I'm picking it right
Really?
now. I'm actually picking that up. I have a buddy I just met who's a golfer and he wants lessons. So now all of a sudden I'm playing more and more. So yeah, we need like the first official Pigeons Open, the little golf tournament going.
Dude, I mean, we would, and there's a couple Pigeons fans who are like, PGA professionals, and the Pigeons songs have been featured on
Really?
some of at some of the events, and they've made it to some of their playlists, I know. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah,
Yeah, I
very,
love that.
very,
I didn't
very
even know
good
you played
golfer.
golf. I didn't know I even played golf, but that's cool.
Oh yeah.
It's not
How'd you not
exactly like
know
I
that
see him
Gator
on
played
on
golf? I knew
stage swinging
that.
a golf club. He's got
Well, Jake,
drumsticks in
also,
his
like,
hand.
aren't you all, you like personal train for like them at times, right? Like you do like different things here and there with the on-it training and like the
Yeah.
kettlebell things and all the
The
crazy
hammers
mallets
and
and wands and
Yeah. Well,
hammer.
man,
I have one of the things, like one of the
the
uh,
bases.
yeah. I mean, no, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
get it now.
Talking
Yeah.
about hardest working guys, let's just talk about going back to that. These guys do like personal training sessions before sound check, and they are always, you, well, I'm just gonna say it. They always have sound check at 4 p.m. Always starts. No if, ands, or buts. Those guys are on stage sound checking for as long and as tight as they can. And before that, they're not messing around. Everyone is doing their own thing, getting work done. Gators, prepping for the show, drumming in the corner. Jeremy's going over chords. Greg's rehearsing lyrics. Ben's getting a training session in, fiddling with his bass, getting it nice and tight. And those guys are always working hard, like we just
Yep.
said. But yeah, I used to do a little bit of personal training, and I know that Kevin, the old
TM.
tour manager, used to do golf trips with Gator with
Yep.
Dante and stuff too. So
Oh yeah.
I don't golf. I can't hit a ball hardly. I don't have the patience for it,
yeah,
honestly.
you got to have
But
an aggressive
real.
amount of patience.
but if we, yeah, I can't go and spend 3 hours on the links, but I can spend 3 hours
Yeah,
on a
I'm
bike.
the
That's my
opposite. I'd
thing.
much
So
rather be on
Oh
the golf
man.
course than on a bike. No doubt about it.
It's funny you say that, and I would usually agree, but like taking my bike out for the first time, and like it's a track bike, and so it's like I've got it set up very aggressive, and like I don't have it on fixie, I have it on single speed right now, and so like I'll send you a picture after, you can kind of oodle.
Okay.
It's I've got an awesome Brooks saddle on it. I've got like it's sexy. I will
What the
say
fuck, Ari?
it is a sexy bike. I used to, when I was living in New York City, that is how I commuted. I bike every day, and
Hell yeah.
like so much fun, and I definitely missed it. Meanwhile, my daughter is just like, "Daddy, I want to go on your bike." And I'm just like, "You can't go on this bike. I don't have a thing for you to get on this bike. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to get that now." But it was nice. It kind of scratched the itch a little bit.
Hell yeah, dude, that's
I'm
good.
still
Yeah.
we actually have a tea time though on Tuesday with me, Chris, and Alex, and probably another one
Very
of our
cool.
buddies.
Oh, nice.
The weather's
Oh,
been
yeah.
good enough for golf in Baltimore right
But
now.
are you?
The weather's been good enough to golf.
What was that?
Oh,
On Tuesday it's going to be
Cool.
like 72 degrees and sunny, so it's going to be phenomenal. If we had, so it rained a lot last week and the week before, and so if we had done it any sooner, like I think Alex played yesterday. He played a course called Whiskey Creek, which is a really nice course by us. He played well, and he just got off it. He just came
Oh,
back
I heard
from
their
Bandon.
greens
He
were
was in
ripped up
Bandon
though.
for-
I've some people who were like
I
smack
know,
talking it. Bandon's amazing. Greens were in rough shape.
I mean, he had a blast. He had a blast.
It's on my bucket list.
That is everything I heard. And Alex's whole family, they're all golfers, and so he went with a bunch of his fam members and whatever. So he got back. So he's golfing a lot. But so yes, the weather is finally in the place where it can be nice. It's not too wet. It's not too cold. It's fun to get out.
Nice. Well, other than My Own Way, any other new songs that you've been listening to that you really like or anything like that?
Man.
I mean, like your favorite Pigeon song of all time.
Truthfully, right now that is My Own Way of all time. Like My Own Way, I have it on repeat a lot, and I can just like listen to it over and over again, and I can either like just like listen to it, or I can just like do it while I'm like, you know, passively listening to other things. Water is great. I love Water. I mean, like going back, like Whoopi is just a great fun one to listen to.
Dude,
You know, it's like I said, we love it. Debbie, my wife, she
Nice.
puts pigeons on for the girls all the time, and the girls love it. And she's always like, "There's Uncle Gator beats on the drums and everything," and so, which is
okay.
always fun. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm excited to hear the rest of the album. I'm excited to kind of
Yeah.
see where they take these songs live and get to a show. But I think this era of
Look, I
pigeons is
think
about to be my
they're,
favorite.
you know, like you kind of mentioned, the maturity of the music. I think kind of, was it Ben said something, a comment. He's like, look, like Feet on the Ground. He's like, this was everybody's contribution. I think like they're all just working so well together. I think just the quality. I mean, I feel like I say this about every song. Like when they put a new song out, I'm like screaming about it on the podcast. I'm like, oh my God, you know, Day and Time I was on for a while. And then, you know, now Feet on the Ground is the one I can't just get out of my head my own way. But they really haven't put one out that I can say has been a dud, or not a dud maybe, but even like just kind of like, oh, it's a good song.
Yeah.
But like they've been aggressively good, I think.
Yep. Well, what's nuts is that they probably have enough songs that
Yeah.
aren't.
Yeah.
Have they announced the track list for this yet? Yeah. So what's wild is that they probably have enough songs that they've also been
Oh,
playing
they could
live
probably
that they could
drop a
probably go
album right
record another
now
album
of
tomorrow.
unreleased music. So, and then look, I guarantee they're still writing right now. So, you know,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Harrisburg, I got that tinge. They're going to drop at least one new song. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he got one new, you know, one each night. It wouldn't shock me. You know, and then so hold on. So
At
the Dome
least.
Fest All Stars is,
Yeah, for
so
sure.
they're doing 5 sets that night, or 4. So there's the openers, and then Pigeons 2 sets, and then Dome Fest All Stars. Is that how they're doing that?
I believe so. I don't know the actual like setup for everything, but I think that's how it's going to be.
Yeah, they said that the Dome Fest All Stars
Got
is
it. I wonder
after
how
2
late they'll let
sets of
them run at
pigeons.
XL.
So however that works out fine.
What's
Probably
her-
pretty late because of I don't know if either of you guys have been there, but the location of it is like kind of like
The strip club next door is not
underneath
going
an
to complain.
overpass or
So
like a bridge, and there's like yeah, strip club next door.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh man,
Yeah.
Harrisburg got other problems they
yeah,
got to deal
pigeons
with
aren't
than
the
pigeon
problem that
going
you're
over
worried about right now.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. I think. Yeah, I think I'm trying. I'm
Yeah.
trying to send it. I mean, you know how it is with kids. So like, I'm trying to send it for that, and it should be.
I just got
mean,
babysitters,
oh yeah.
so
But like for
that
me, it's like that's the thing. It's like I have to go to
Mhm.
the well only like so often. So it's just like when I have shows, like usually I'll get a babysitter, so like my wife can come to our show, or like we're traveling in May. We're gonna go to Scottsdale for a work trip, which will be good. But like, it's like I have to pick the nights that either I ditch Debbie and go to a show, or like we get a babysitter strategically, so that way.
Look, you got to
I
keep the
don't
wife
shoot
happy,
myself in
man.
the
At the end of the
foot.
day, there's priority
Yeah.
there.
Always. And I'm blessed, and my wife loves it. And my wife, I mean, she like we grew up together. She also
cool.
went to the same high school and and middle school. Like all, we all grew up together. We didn't start dating until later, but like independently, Debbie liked pigeons, like in her own path. And then it kind of was just like funny how like next thing you know, we're backstage at Red Rocks kind of a thing 10 years later.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's how Tiffany and I met at a Dome Fest.
Oh, right. I did know that.
Yeah, so she was a Pigeons fan
Well, we'll go
as
for
well
the trifecta.
before me. So I mean, I was a Pigeons fan before her, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts? So Dome Fest.
I think it's
No
a tough
Dome
year for
Fest this year.
festivals. You know,
What
I'm
are your
seeing
thoughts?
a lot of smaller festivals
Oh my God,
are
100%.
struggling. I think, you know, a lot of people say Fish with Mondegreen sucked a lot of air out of the room because look, I'm going. Clearly, there's a lot of people that's going to pull. So, you know, hopefully they bring it back next year. I mean, I'm really hoping it comes back. You know, hopefully by then I can, you know, I want to be in a position to sponsor it again and try to like see if I can help get involved in a bigger way and, you know, provide that the festival a little additional revenue they can use to you know, just make it better as well. So I think it'll be back. I hope it'll be back. But yeah, it's kind of a bummer. But I think this Dogs Frasco Pigeons thing that they're doing they have Magic Beans late night parties. I mean, all right, it's a traveling circus of freaks, and I love it, and I'm here for it. Like, oh,
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting for sure. Missing Dome Fest since like the past 5 years would be the first time without it, I guess. But and we the past two had started vending it, so we're not, that was like our biggest festival of the year as far as vending goes and stuff. That's pretty much the only one that we did. So without doing it, we're not really doing anything other than like fish lots and stuff this year.
Sure.
And but you said earlier about Dave. I actually sent a message to Dave today about maybe doing some type of pop-up situation with vendors or something similar, like a meetup type deal that other bands have been doing at like breweries and stuff before the show. So we'll see how that goes. But also they might be doing something with that, with like the traveling circus that you just talked about, maybe some vendors with that and stuff too. But that's all up in the air. I just know Jeremy was interested in it a little bit, so I just
it
reached
brings
out
a
to him
fan
for
element
that.
into
But
it, when there's like,
know,
other people who are just vending, selling shirts, tie dyes, whatever their wares are, pins, you name it. But it's cool when you have that stuff in there as well.
yeah, I mean, so many other bands do it. Dogs in the Pile do it. Eggy's doing it. It's a rich tradition in
We're
jam
starting to do
bands.
it a little bit for the Bears, especially for like our Union Craft show. Our Union Craft show is like our annual. It's like our anniversary this year, the 3-year anniversary. And like we usually have vendors will set up either inside or right outside Union. And it's like you said, it's definitely part of the vibe. It's part of the scene, and it's like it's a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, they're having Owen doing a live painting
cool.
during night
During
too, so
Harrisburg.
like
Yeah.
might just add to the atmosphere. It's not too hard to do. People are willing to do it. There's plenty of people that are willing to do it, just not myself. I mean, as far as like the meetup situation thing goes too, people are always looking for things to do, especially Pigeons. People are always early to shows, so they're always trying to find things to do before shows. So like give a common area of people. The last two that we had were very successful. We had over like 75 people in Covington.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then at the Cap, we had one, but the place that we were at was so small that we ended up like packing it out. So over 30 people were there for that one. So I mean, if you make it, people will come. So
where
Pigeons can even open up their merch table early and have people have more of an opportunity to buy stuff if they actually wanted to do something, or like clear out old inventory too. Yeah. I'm just saying that Eggy just did it recently. You can find it. They like had their like warehouse sale at a recent show of like when they were back up near Connecticut.
When I was at the Friendsgiving shows, Twiddle had like all their, it looked like they just went to a warehouse, grabbed all their old merch, every old poster, and they just had like the back of Garcia's. It was just this huge area of just all like just merch dump of ex-Twiddle past tour stuff. But it was cool. I mean, I didn't really get anything, but some people that are like, sometimes you wanted to get a poster for a show, but you left, you forgot, whatever. You just didn't have a chance to at the time. But hey, you see it now, like, oh, all right, cool. I can get this poster I've wanted. So,
yeah. So we'll see.
We're coming up. What's that?
The Dome Fest will be fun when they put it back on. I was really actually looking forward to like potentially actually making it out this year for it. Since I couldn't go last year, and I couldn't go the year before that I couldn't go. But I don't remember. But I'm hoping that no offense to Ohio and no offense to Legends.
Yep.
I'm hoping they bring it back.
That's a popular opinion.
Because it'll be easy for all. So, and I'm not saying hey, listen, Marvin's is magical. I get it. I had my favorite experiences at All Good back in the day at Marvin's, but like we get the police at Marvin's are kind of annoying, That's the thing. So we'll see. We'll see what they do. I'm looking forward to it, regardless.
Yeah, for sure. But let's go ahead and run through these tour dates real quick. They are, like we were just talking about, returning back to Harrisburg for 2 nights, May 3rd and May 4th at XL Live. We got Kendall Street Company opening up the first night, and then the Dome Fest All Stars closing out the second night, and then they're off the rest of the end until the end of May, where they pick back up May 24th at the Stone Pony, and this begins their
That show is going
traveling
to be
circus
insanely
with Dogs in
packed
the
because
Pile.
just when I
Andy
saw
Frasco
Pigeons
and
there
the Mighty.
last, when they played, that room was almost unmanageably like. I think they're doing it.
You think they'll do it
Oh,
outside?
it is outside. All right, perfect. That's fine.
It's outside.
I don't think
They have
that
that
you're any way you
big
can do that
stage
inside
outside.
with
Yeah,
those three
this- oh
bands.
my
It'd be
God.
crazy.
No way.
Most all of these shows with Frasco.
We were
are
talking
going to
about
be
Red Rocks.
outside.
This would be an awesome thing
It'll
to
be
take to Red
near-
Rocks. Magic Beans live in Denver, so late night Beans, Cervantes, something like that. You could, that would be the perfect. Yeah. Could you imagine?
Still
That'd
getting
be
an announcement. You never know. Yeah.
Send it.
Right,
I
any
need an
excuse is a good
excuse to go to
excuse.
Colorado. It's been a minute.
We got to take Boulder to Boulder.
Oh yeah.
But then the 25th, they're in Connecticut at Levitt Pavilion. The 26th at Saranac Brewing Company in Utica, New York. And then at the end of May, the 31st, they're in Rochester, New York. And then they come to my neck of the woods in Columbus, Ohio at Kemba Live on June 1st, and then head down to Newport, Kentucky, which is pretty much Cincinnati the next night. And then that puts a pause on their traveling circus, because then they hit Kansas City and St. Louis June 5th and 6th on their way up to the Bonfire Music and Arts Festival in Wisconsin. And then they pick back up with Andy Frasco at Bell's Brewery in Kalamazoo June 7th. And then they are on the festival circuit here. They hit Swansea, New Hampshire, the Northlands, and the Gisem Crow Festival in Jay, Vermont. I haven't really heard of that one, but then we get to the Caverns, 2 nights in the Caverns. Didn't see this one.
It's a nice consolation
Did
prize for
not
Dome
see
Fest
this
not
coming at
happening. I
all.
feel like they're
I
not,
was-
they're trying to help us out here a little bit. And having missed the Caverns last time, the FOMO was real. So I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, I'll literally start walking and I'll get there at some point. So
Ari, you ever been in the Caverns?
I have not. I want to. So
No.
it's like, from an acoustic standpoint, like it's just like I nerd out about that kind of stuff. That's my thing, acoustics. And so like that kind of the kind of natural amphitheater vibe, like just being in the cavern. I mean, I've seen pictures. It's just like it just looks
yeah,
like
it's just
it'd
one
be
of
a
those kind of
special
really
place to see
unique
out there.
kind of venues that really just don't
Yeah.
exist. Like Red Rocks is its own thing. I know we kind of talked about that. It's like a natural
Yeah.
formation in a sense, like a cave. It's like someone just saw a cave and was like, yeah, you know what we should do in here? We should put on some concerts. That's what we should do. That's
Play some
so
bluegrass.
someone had to sell that idea to somebody and be like, no, seriously, if bands play in this cave, it'll be awesome.
Oh, for sure. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely what happened.
It is. Hey, so they used to do bluegrass concerts in there, and then they used to air those on PBS for the longest time. So they'd
Really?
have so if you that's how it started. So they wouldn't have any speakers in there. They would just have bluegrass in there. I saw Jeff Austin down there at my first concert, and it was something similar to that. It was only about
Wow.
300 people, and it was early on. It was probably 2015 Caverns. There was nothing down there. There was just probably one hotel and one restaurant, but the whole infrastructure
so
has
cool.
exploded around the Caverns, and they're going to offer camping and stuff for this. So this is definitely going to have a festival vibe. They have vendors in the parking lot. I was able to set up last year, no problem, no fees or anything. So they're very accommodating, the people there.
And if you
So
don't know, just
it's
buzz
gonna be awesome.
JT. He seems to be the resident
The
expert on
campgrounds.
all things caverns. So if you need hotels, camping, just message JT and he'll be fine. He'll get you taken care of.
Nice.
And then they stay south for a little while and go to Birmingham, Alabama, and then head north to Pier 17 in New York
It's a really
City,
cool venue.
which is another cool venue. So they're hitting a couple.
That'll be an
cool
earlier
venues
show, I
this
think.
year.
They have a pretty early curfew there.
We're
I
thinking
think.
about
So I
maybe
think that show
hitting-
starts like kind of like 5 or 6 or
definitely.
something like that. Yeah.
That would make sense.
Okay, that's noted. And then September 1st, they're in Portland, Maine. September 6th, Devil's Backbone Brewing Company.
I think it'll be a hot one this time.
Great
as well.
show last time. I would, always recommend listening to that show. It has a lot of great shows. Actually, my 75th show.
Oh, damn. Cool.
Yeah, it was one for the record books, I guess.
Nice.
And then September 7th, they're in Charlotte, and then they wrap up their tour dates with the Bender Jamboree and
Bender
Ocean
Jamboree,
Calling
yeehaw.
in September and Ocean.
We'll be at that Ocean's Calling show. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Well,
They're doing that, I think, Sunday. Never miss a Sunday show. It's
Boys to
them,
Men, like the
Dave
lineup
Matthews,
is so
Zach
crazy.
Matthews.
I love it.
Oh, man. No, we'll definitely be at that Ocean's Calling set.
Nice. That's my mom lives in Ocean City, so
Oh, hell yeah.
we might have to. Well, just north of that. But
Hey, is your mom a deadhead?
she's actually
Okay.
really into the Beatles.
Oh, sick. That's incredible.
Yeah, so I grew up on the Beatles more than anything else.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so she's not really into.
What's
the
her
Grateful
take on the
Dead
Pigeons?
As much as
All
I
good.
am.
All
But
good.
yeah, she's always looking out for them and stuff, but they don't usually go,
Yeah.
close enough for her to.
There's a
wanna
cool
go.
venue in Berlin called Burley Oak. And the Bears will be there in June. I think June 15th. That's Saturday night. It's the only reason why I asked. But yeah, but Berlin's a cool little town. It's like right outside of Ocean City. It's got like the main street's like really quaint. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So
Well, I'll let her know.
hey,
We'll see how she's
if she
doing.
decides to come, tell her to text me on Facebook or message me on Facebook. I'll hook her up. It'll be fun.
All right. Hell yeah.
Right.
Hooking up Mama Coon. Nice. Well, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ari, for hopping on Flockast. Really appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
yeah,
have
we'll
to
have
have
you
some
back
hot takes.
anytime.
Yeah, dude, anytime you want to come on,
Oh yeah.
just let me know, brother. Or
Very
I'll
cool.
bother you like I did.
I love it. I love it, man. So hope to see you guys soon. Have a great week, everybody. Enjoy.